Herschel Walker is at it again. This time, if you are of a certain age, he does not think that you really have a right to shape or impact policies and really the American way. Here's what Herschel Walker said about people born after 1990. They really should have to earn their citizenship, he says. The GOP Georgia Senate candidate, Herschel Walker, said this during his latest round of interviews. He's called for people critical of America to leave the country. Well, let's let him say it best.
Herschel, how do you feel about people that want to change America from when you and I were kids? I mean, there's, we have, I guess it's 80 to 90 or 70 to 80 million people in America that were born after 1990. So these are kids who grew up, when they were 10 years of age with the real beginning of the computers and the internet at home. So they don't know the world that we know pre-internet. They don't know that the bullying was not really, we may have been bullied when we were kids, in a class or teased and things like that, but not the type of culture that these kids have with the internet today. What do you say to those kids and those young people that are voting?
Well, first of all, they don't know that the grass is not green on the other side, that they think they're somewhere better. And if they know another place is better than the United States of America, my thing is, why don't you go there or tell me, let me know who that is, because I can tell them right now there's not. I think our biggest problem is we've not shown our kids that most of the people today hadn't earned the right to change America. And what I mean by that, there's people that have died or not given their life up. There's people that have given their life up to this flag. They've given their life up for this national anthem. They've given their life up for our freedom and these liberties that we have in this country today, and we're taking it for granted. Well, I don't want that to happen. And I'm saying, and I'm not being tough, I'm saying, if you know a place better, you go there, but you lose your citizenship here in the United States of America. And then when you come back, you got to come back legally, like we should be defending the border.
So these are people in their 30s. Correct me, David, if my math is off. Who were you at age 30? He's saying that, listen, if you criticize, go. Get out of here. What say you?
Well, I mean, I was sort of with him. I don't agree with him, but I could sort of respect his argument until the end. That sure, if you don't like this country, if you don't want to, work to try to change it, then leave. But this idea that you leave and then you're no longer treated like an American citizen and you have to go through and renew your applications and citizenship. That's where Herschel Walker gets really bizarre and goes bonkers, and that's why people don't take him seriously, because there is some merit to the question that was asked about, hey, what do you do with an entire generation of people who grew up on the internet and don't know what it was like to solve things away from social media? How do you deal? That's a valid question. But Herschel Walker sort of took that into, well, you can't hate America, and if you hate America, leave, and you're not a citizen anymore. That's insane. That's stupid, and it doesn't sort of really answer the question. He could have said, well, look, that's an issue. We got to figure out ways of recommunicating with each other, talking with each other, talking about things that happened in the past that worked, as well as the things in the past that didn't work. But instead of going there, Herschel Walker turns it into an us versus them, and that's dividing the American people, and I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, every time I think he's gonna say something profound, and yes, I may be the one person that still thinks there is an opportunity for that, he goes too far. He wants to revoke people's papers. Not done with just people who are, and I don't know, what is that, generation what, David?
Is this what, the millennial generation? I mean, yeah, and now Generation Z? I mean, it's
Z, maybe, I guess is what he's talking about. But he didn't stop with just young people. He had this for black and brown people. He wants them to have several seats on a plane or a train or a bus out of here too.
But if you love America, you got to fight for America. I told people this, and I want all the African Americans out there to hear, all the white America, all the Latino America, all America. If you don't like America, you can go to the country you like, because we're not going to hold you here. We're not going to hold you. You can go somewhere else.
Okay, he's not going to detain you here, David, if you disagree with the American way of life. He won't hold you here, but he is urging you to get out now.
Well, and I mean, what Herschel Walker doesn't understand, and perhaps a lot of Americans on the right don't understand, this isn't a binary choice. You can love what America's possibilities are. You can love what this country is supposed to stand for, and still be detestable, still hate America's past, the past of injustice and racism and slavery and people being treated poorly. We can hate all of that and still like what America's promise is supposed to be. But Herschel Walker doesn't seem to understand, and a lot of people on the right don't seem to understand, that somehow criticizing America's racist past, its past of subjugating people who are minorities, somehow that means you hate America. No, you love America because you're willing to point out its flaws and you try to fix them. And I would argue that maybe Herschel Walker should take that advice. If he's not willing to acknowledge America's past and the problems that we've had in the past and work to solve them, then maybe he should leave the country. He should go somewhere else. And oh, by the way, I don't remember him serving in the military or any one of these categories that qualifies him, that he says qualifies you to be a great citizen.
Well, he worked with the police, David. He did serve in that way, okay? And he has the badge to prove it, so he did at least do that. Herschel Walker, he has a lot of things on his mind this past weekend over Thanksgiving. He wished his mother a happy birthday too, but he had other things to say, and he didn't just attack people. He seemed to attack four-legged friends as well. He says that Raphael Warnock's dog is a fake, and it's all a big lie. And if he'll lie about that, because we all know Herschel Walker does not like liars. He does not like people who don't tell the truth. What else is he lying about? Let's roll that.
We told them the smear ads were coming, and that's exactly what happened. You would think that Kelly Loeffler might have something good to say about herself if she really wants to represent Georgia. Instead, she's trying to scare people by taking things I've said out of context from over 25 years of being a pastor. But I think Georgians will see her ads for what they are. Don't you? I'm Raphael Warnock, and we approve this message.
I just love Alvin. And I think Senator Warnock never looked better than when he's just enjoying a walk with the dog. So that's the ad from 2020, David. He's repurposed that and rolled it out again for the runoff, and here we are again. And that's what Herschel Walker was talking about, that listen, it's not your dog. I don't think Raphael Warnock said it was. It belongs to one of his supporters. And he picked the right breed, because beagles, from what I've read, they love everyone. You don't have to know them a long time. Their tail is gonna wag, they're gonna lick you in the face like it did Senator Warnock in that ad. But what do you think about Herschel Walker's tactics here?
It makes some sense in sort of the grand scheme of things of politics, and that is most people distrust politicians, and most people would look at an ad, even if you like Raphael Warnock, and think, okay, maybe there's something that's not quite on the up and up. Is that really his dog? Is Raphael Warnock really speaking the truth? Because I think politicians lie all the time. I'm skeptical of them. So there's some advantage to trying to get at that. The problem that Herschel Walker and Republicans have is that Herschel Walker is the absolute worst messenger for this. He has no credibility. If Herschel Walker wants to talk about liars or people who are being not very honest, I mean, everybody's gonna say, well, wait a second, what about Herschel Walker? So this is the wrong message from the wrong person at the wrong time. And so it just sort of flies over. And again, for people who follow politics, they're like, doesn't Herschel Walker understand if you're gonna attack Raphael Warnock and make it stick, it can't be something where Herschel Walker is even more vulnerable to that same issue.
And you mentioned the timing, and that may be the biggest key to this thing, because it seems that Herschel Walker's caught in another lie this past week, and it came out that he took the homestead exemption back in his Dallas area home where he owns, I think it's a $3 million home. And so that's what people are barking about now. Herschel Walker has continued to claim his Tarrant County home as his primary residence. Now here's a man who's running to be the next senator of the great state of Georgia. This potentially is breaking both Texas laws and some Georgia rules on establishing residency for the purpose of voting or running for office. That according to CNN. Though he registered to vote in Georgia last year, Tarrant County property and tax records show Walker claimed a homestead exemption on his 4-bedroom home in Westlake in 2021 and 2022. Texas homeowner regulations say residents can only take the exemption on a principal residence. So as I said, here we are again. And as I was reading that, David, I was wondering if anybody in his campaign was even aware of any of this. You know, they sit down with you, there's that body man or woman who says, listen, tell me everything just between us so we can figure this thing out.
Yeah, I have a feeling he didn't tell anybody. And again, there's been one case that I've seen over the last, I'd say, decade in which somebody's been able to flaunt the rules and brag about it and get away with it. And that was Donald Trump. I think it was in 2016, in which he said, yeah, of course I don't pay taxes because I know the system is rigged. And look at me, I'm so brilliant because I can rig the system. That's what I'm all about. I know where the problems are. Well, that kind of had a certain sort of effect on people who said, yeah, Donald Trump's not playing by the rules, but I kind of like that about him. Well, it doesn't work with really anybody. I haven't seen it work with anybody else. It didn't work with Dr. Oz and his issues of having primary residence in New Jersey and running for Senate in Pennsylvania. I don't think it's gonna help Herschel Walker now. Even if he came out and said, yeah, of course I've got residence in Texas. That's how bright I am. Look, I'm gaming the system and I'm here to fix it. I suppose he could try that argument. It just wouldn't work. But I don't even think sophisticated enough to even try to make that case. So this is just, one more thing at a time when the polls show him down by 4 or 5 points a week before the election.
Yeah, since he is down by 4 to 5 points, as you said, David, it does seem like Senator Warnock is just gonna keep walking the dog, ride this thing out, let Alvin lead him, and let Herschel Walker's words just kind of speak for themselves. There's no need to interpret. Listen.
You ever watch a stupid movie late at night, hoping it's gonna get better, don't get better, but you keep watching it anyway? Because the other night I was watching this movie. I was watching this movie called Freak Night, or some type of night, but it was about vampires. I don't know if you know vampires are cool people.
What the hell is he talking about?
Is he serious? Is he for real?
But I'm gonna tell you something that I found out. A werewolf can kill a vampire. Did you know that?
What is he talking about?
Do that, so I didn't want to be a vampire anymore. I want to be a werewolf.
Oh my gosh.
He's talking about vampires and werewolves right now.
Y'all serious about this, right?
So I've been telling this little story about this bull out in the field.
What
with 6 cows.
Earth?
And 3 of them are pregnant.
There's no substance, there's nothing.
So you got something going on.
It makes me want to laugh, and then it makes me think we're in trouble.
But all he cared about is kept his nose against the fence, looking at 3 other cows that then belonged to him. Now all he had to do is eat grass.
This video is ridiculous. That's 35 seconds of my life I'll never get back.
Why would I want someone like that leading the state of Georgia?
Our good air decided to float over to China, bad air.
Unbelievable.
So when China gets our good air, their bad air gotta move.
It's all the same air.
Not only does it make no sense, I don't even understand what he thinks he's saying.
So it moves over to our good air space. And now we gotta clean that back up.
I sit and watch these on Twitter and I'm like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Like literally, what is he talking about?
He's completely unqualified for this really, really serious job.
No one's watching this and being like, oh man, that guy's got it together.
And sometimes like I read through the comments because I'm like, is anybody actually understanding, or are we just sitting here wasting time? It is embarrassing. Let's call it what it is. It is embarrassing.
They just care about getting a yes man, somebody that had just punched the button.
I think it's a risk to me and millions of Georgians to put this man in a position of power.
Let's call it what it is. This is embarrassing as hell.
At all. I mean, well, you know.
Okay, now she's my favorite at the end. She can't take it, she's gotta get up and leave. But I found myself wondering, David, do you think, because we all have seen these focus groups where they pay someone a little bit of money, say, come on in, we just want you to react to the ad, tell us what you think. And maybe I'm thinking, hey, this is your ad and you just maybe wanna fine tune it. The beauty though of this one, to me, is that they're all different races, ages, sexes, and they all have these similar reactions, from humor to disgust to bewilderment.
Sharon, that's exactly right, and you just sort of nailed it, because I think when a lot of us, when people, voters react to something, sometimes the first thing that goes through their mind is this just me? Am I the only one who finds this really creepy or weird or strange? And when you hear other people, whether it's social media or whatnot, who reaffirm, no, this is pretty bizarre, it empowers you to then sort of act on it. And so what's so brilliant about this Raphael Warnock piece, this video, is he's empowering people of all different races, nationalities, genders, to say, yeah, this is inappropriate in a Senate candidate. We don't want this kind of crazy stuff. And by the way, I mean, what's so brilliant here is Raphael Warnock. I mean, if he wins, the Democrats then get an advantage in all the Senate committees. It's no longer an even split. They will get subpoena power. They'll have the ability to move legislation faster. So there are real world consequences if Raphael Warnock wins and Herschel Walker loses. And so for Democrats, there's reasons to be energized, and there's also reasons to act by voting against Herschel Walker if you feel disturbed by some of the stuff that he has said.
Yeah, and just, let's stick with this just for one more moment, because it does seem to me there's some criticism out there that, listen, this has gone too far, okay? They're starting to feel sorry for Herschel Walker, but this, I live in Georgia, and there's an appreciation here for an all shucks attitude and plain spokenness. There really is. Herschel Walker is on an island. He really is.
Yeah, and it's an island where he's not helping himself, right? Because the bridge from that island to sort of the mainland, or whatever sort of analogy you want to be, would be with Herschel Walker if he came out and said, I'm gonna ramble on a little bit, and maybe this story's not gonna make a lot of sense to you, but here's why put it in some context, at least telegraph to people, I'm about to do something that may not be your style of speaking, but give me a second because there's a point to what I'm about to say. But he doesn't do that. He just immediately shifts from first gear to fifth gear, and you can hear everything sort of grinding along the way, and the car is shaking around, and everybody's like, oh no, buckle your seatbelt, where's he going this time? And so, yeah, he's on an island, and he just keeps digging his hole even deeper. And it's too bad that the Republicans, look, somebody should be saying to him, hey, if you're gonna go on these tangents, here's how you gotta set it. There should be somebody who cares enough about and respects Herschel Walker enough to try to help him, but it seems like he's not getting any help.
Yeah, and you're the football guy, and I covered football a little bit, but didn't they use a shot clock or something to kind of just, you have 10 seconds to make a point or just ramble, and then you gotta get out of there. But clearly he's not someone who's gonna take too much direction.
Yeah, even his football background, he had 10 other players who were blocking or guiding the way, or saying, okay, this plays to the right or this plays to the left. And so there was some direction, and then sure, he would improvise and use his talent and skills, but he wouldn't improvise right from the start. And I think that's what's been missing from a lot of Republicans who were maybe hopeful for Herschel Walker. I think there are a lot of Republicans who, putting aside their sort of policies, and I disagree with them, but I think from a pure political perspective, I think people thought the Walker campaign would be better than this. And the fact that it's been as miserable, I think gets to the state of the Republican Party overall.
Certainly seems to lack discipline.